So welcome to the St. Peter's Engineering College, Department of Civil Engineering. So myself, V. Gajendra, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering. So I'm going to be discussing about the subject surveying and geomatics. In that Unit 2, today's session I'm going to be discussing the topic Unit 2, leveling in the surveying and geomatics subject. And Unit 2 leveling, the previous classes we discussed, the previous sessions we discussed about the what are the objectives of the leveling, uses of the leveling, important definitions that we are going to be using in the process of the leveling. So instruments used for the leveling, and that the types of the levels and the staff and types of the staff, temporary adjustments for the carrying out the leveling work. So this in the previous sessions we discussed. So then after understanding that the what is meant by the level types of the levels and what are the staff various types of the staves we are going to be using for the carrying out the leveling work. So then, so the we are going to be taking out the methods of leveling, understanding the temporary adjustments of the leveling and permanent adjustments of the leveling. So then, after understanding the temporary adjustments, we are going to be placing the instrument over the tripod of the stand. And first, we have to be suitable location we are going to be selected. The second point is that one we are going to be placing the level on the tripod or the stand. So then the temporary adjustment, the adjustment of the legs, such that leveling head or the tripod head will be so the parallel to the ground surface. Then the third one and fourth one is perfect leveling by the foot screws on the leveling head. So the 3 foot screws are available and 4 foot screws are available. And with the help of the 3 foot screws and the leveling bubble is going to comes to the center, then the instrument is going to be ready to take the measurements in the form of the readings. So then after the adjustment of the permanent adjustment, or we are going to be called as the leveling by using the foot screws, perfect leveling by the foot screws. Then we have to be check that focusing. So how the eyepiece is going to be working and how the object glass is going to be working. So that is we are going to be checking the focusing of the eyepiece, focusing of the object glass. Focusing of the eyepiece, why we have to be checked that. So in the eyepiece, we are having the crosshairs. In the diaphragm, we are having the crosshairs. These crosshairs, we are going to be looking through the eyepiece, and that will be crosshairs intersecting the staff, and we are going to be taking that the vertical reading. That is the reading we are going to be taking on the scale. Staff is going to be giving a scale. These crosshairs is going to be intersecting to the scale where it is going to be intersect properly. So then we are going to be reading through the eyepiece. So that's why the importance of the crosshairs. The crosshairs is going to be so built in the eyepiece. So you are going to be rotating the eyepiece in and out such that we can able to see that the visibility of the crosshairs. If the crosshairs is not going to be visible and we are not able to take the reading perfectly. So on the scale, that's why we are going to be testing and we are going to be checking that the focusing of the eyepiece such that the crosshairs is going to be visible. And the second is going to be called focusing of the object glass. So we are going to be the right hand side of the level person with the telescope. We are having a focusing screw is going to be provided for the level instrument. So we are going to adjusting the focusing screw such that we can able to see that the object clearly. So that is we are going to be called as object glass, focusing of the object glass with the object end. So we can able to see that the visibility of the object clearly, clear vision of the object. So we are going to be adjusting by using that the focusing screw. One is we are going to be adjusting the eyepiece, so we can able to see that the visibility of the crosshairs. Second one is visibility of the objects. We are going to be adjusting by using the focusing screw. So this is we are going to be called as temporary adjustments of the leveling. So why this is required is that before we are going for the field work by using the leveling instrument, so we had to be checked that so it is going to be properly working or not. That we are going to be giving the adjustments is going to be called as temporary adjustments. If the instrument is going to be out of condition or out of work, so then that we are going to call it as adjustments. You are going to done is going to be called as permanent adjustments. So this is has to be done by the instrumentation engineer. Instrumentation engineer is going to be responsible for so carrying out the repairs for the leveling instrument and make sure that level will be in a proper working condition. That we are going to be called as permanent adjustments. Permanent adjustments is not going to be done by the level person or the surveyor. The surveyor can able to do that, authorized for doing that the temporary adjustments. So temporary adjustment is going to be called as adjusting the eyepiece, adjusting the object glass, and we can able to see that leveling up of the instrument. These are all is going to be coming under that the temporary adjustments can able to do by the surveyor. but if the instrument is out of condition, so then the adjustment or the repair has to be done by the instrumentation engineer. That is comes under the classification of permanent adjustments. So this is the differences between when we have to go for temporary adjustments and when we have to go for the permanent adjustments. So after understanding that what is the leveling instrument and what are the other accessories we are going to be using for the leveling survey, for that is going to call a scale in the form of a staff. So that is the folding staff will be available, target staff is going to be available. So these two are necessary while you are going to be taking the measurements, or we are going to call as vertical measurements or the vertical distances, or we can say that the elevation. So the technically we are going to call as elevation, or it is going to be called as vertical measurements. With respect to that, the datum line, we are going to be using the instruments is level, another one is going to be called as staff. These will be required to carry out the leveling survey. Now, after understanding that level and as well as the staff, various staffs are available, various staves are available. So then next is going to be called as the methods of leveling and then the types of leveling operation. So types of leveling operation. Types of leveling operation. So in this session, I am going to be discussing about the what are the various methods of leveling, then what are the types of leveling operation carried out. So from the one point to the one place to the other place or one end to the other end, how the leveling survey is going to be carried out. Progress of the leveling work can able to do by the different operations of leveling that we are going to be called as types of leveling. Methods of leveling is what are the various methods to get the so the vertical elevation or to get the vertical distance measurement that we are going to call as methods of leveling. So in the methods of leveling, the three methods are available. First method is going to be called as barometric leveling. So first method is going to be called barometric leveling. Then the second method is going to be called as a trigonometric leveling. Or we are going to be called as indirect leveling. So third method is going to be called as spirit leveling. Or we can say that the direct leveling. So these are the three methods of leveling is going to be available to carry out the leveling survey or to carry out the leveling work. One is the barometric leveling, second one is trigonometric leveling or indirect leveling, the third one is going to be called as spirit leveling or the direct leveling. So what is meant by the barometric leveling and what is meant by the trigonometric leveling or indirect leveling, spirit leveling or the direct leveling? So barometric leveling. So here, so the atmospheric pressure we are going to be measured based on the atmospheric pressure, we are going to be calculated the difference of elevations. So difference of elevation or elevations of the points. Here the principle we are going to be using is atmospheric pressure. That's why we are going to call as barometric pressure and bars. Barometric pressure we are going to be measured, the units is going to be called as bars. So the barometric pressure we are going to be, it is barometric pressure is not going to be constant from place to place. So the elevation is going to be measured. So it is going to be, so one point to the other point, the elevation is going to be changes. Then so it is not going to be constant. The atmospheric pressure is not constant. So then this type of survey we are going to be using for reconnaissance survey. It is not going to be suitable for to carry out the entire leveling process. That's why we are going to be least preferred while you are going for leveling survey, because atmospheric pressure is not going to be constant. It is going to be changes from place to place and changes from point to point. So these abrupt changes will be there in the atmospheric pressure. So based on the atmospheric pressure only, we are going to be doing the leveling. We are going to call it as barometric leveling. So that's the difference of elevation or the elevation we are going to measure So with the barometric leveling, so it is going to be changes will be more, or abrupt changes will be there. It is going to be suitable for preliminary or reconnaissance survey, only for the small data we are going to be get it for the reconnaissance survey, or the important information we want to get it related to the place or related to the location. So in that circumstances, we are going to be using at the barometric leveling. And if you are going for extensive surveys, we are going to be preferably we are going to be using that the spirit leveling, or we are going to be called as direct leveling. So this is about the barometric leveling. So next, the second method we are going to be called as, in the methods of leveling, second method is trigonometric leveling. So the second method we are going to be called is going to be classified as trigonometric leveling. Or this is we are going to be called as indirect leveling. So here the term itself is going to be giving you meaning that trigonometry, the trigonometrical relations. So we are going to be using while we are going to be carry out the leveling work or the leveling survey. So that's why we are going to be called as trigonometric leveling or indirect leveling. So what is the trigonometry we are going to be using here? We are going to be called as in terms of heights and distances. Heights and distances. So because the leveling, the objective of the leveling is that we are going to preparing, we are going to measuring the vertical distance or vertical height or the elevation we are going to measure. So that is we are going to call a height. And in addition to that one, distance also. So I want to get the two measurements that will be given by the angular measurements. Vertical height I want to measure means I want to get the angle, unless otherwise I don't have the angular measurement. So it will be very difficult to measure or to find out the height. So that's why the distance, linear measurement with respect to the height. So the nose, then it is going to be giving you by the one more additional requirement is going to be called as angular measurements. That's why we are going to call as indirect leveling. This is not the direct leveling process. So it will be combination of linear measurement and as well as the angular measurement will be required. I want to get that the height or elevation, or I want to get that the vertical distance. Vertical distance or the vertical height or elevation I want to measure. It is going to be a combination of angular measurement and the distance measurements. So with the only vertical measurements itself, leveling instrument, always the objective of the leveling is that, so we had to be find out that the vertical height or the elevation. For that, so we require the angular measurement and as well as the distance measurement also, linear and as well as the angular measurement. Combination of that one we are able to get that the height. So that's why it is going to be called as indirect leveling. So I want to find out, this is the tower will be there. I want to from the instrument station, from here the instrument station, I want to know that what is the height of the tower. So that I want to first is going to be called as distance I have to measure. And then if you know that the angle with respect to the horizontal, so I can able to find out what is the height of the elevation. So height is I'm going to be measuring with respect to that the angle and the distance. So height. So our objective is in the leveling we are going to be finding out the height or the elevation or the vertical distance. For that, so I am going to be using the angular measurement as well as the distance measurement with the help of the angle and the distance. Applying the trigonometrical principles, we are going to be calculating that the height. So due to that one, we are going to be called as indirect method of leveling or the indirect leveling. So indirect leveling is going to be called as trigonometrical leveling. We are using angular and distance measurement. With the help of angular and distance measurement, we are going to be estimating that vertical height or the vertical distances of elevations. Next, the last method is going to be called as spirit leveling. Spirit leveling, or we are going to be called as a direct leveling. So why we use the spirit is that we are going to be using that the bubble will be having that the mercury. That's why we are going to call it spirit leveling. So leveling head will be having that the bubble. So the bubble we had to make it to the center such that the instrument is going to be properly leveled. And the dumpy level instrument or the Y level or the treating level or automatic level, any leveling instruments, we have to be properly leveled by using the spirit. So by using the spirit will be having that the mercury we are going to be using, so that this is going to be called as bubble. So that is going to be called as level tube or level bubble. Level tube consists of the level bubble attached to the leveling head, such that it is going to be, so your instrument is going to be properly leveled. We have to be adjusted, or we have to be make the spirit is going to be, that is going to be the level bubble is going to be to the center by using the foot screws. So that is where already discussed about the temporary adjustments by using the 3 foot screws. We have to be make sure that the bubble is going to comes to the center. Then your instrument is going to be properly leveled, and whatever the measurements we are going to be taken is going to be correct. If the bubble is not going to be center, if you take that the measurements, so then that is not going to be the accurate measurements. That is the erroneous measurements we are able to get it. So it means your bubble will be here is wrong. The bubble will be like this will be wrong. But always it has to be come into the center of the level tube or center of the level bubble in the circle. So then your instrument is going to properly level. That's why we are going to call a spirit leveling or the direct leveling. Then we will take the scale, that is by using the staff. So where the crosses is going to be bisecting the vertical scale or the staff. So we are going to be taking the reading. For that reading, we are going to call as staff reading. The staff reading we are going to be added to the known elevation. We can able to get the height of the elevation. That's what we are going to call as reduced level. Where level is going to be reduced with respect to the known elevation of the datum line, with respect to the datum surface. So we are going to be calculated is going to be called as reduced level or the elevation. So that's why we are going to call spirit leveling is going to be called as direct leveling. Directly we will take the vertical distance or vertical measurements with the help of leveling instrument. The leveling instrument is going to be controlled by the level tube or the level bubble. In the level bubble, we are going to be using as the mercury, or mercury in the form of a spirit. That's why we are going to be called a spirit level. Always the base is here, level bubble, or the level tube is the base. Once your level bubble is going to be center, the instrument is properly leveled. Readings taken from the readings or the measurements taken by the leveling instrument is going to be right, or the corrected one. So that is going to be gives you as your vertical distance or the height or the elevation measurement. So this is about what are the 3 methods of leveling, so that we are going to be adapted depending upon the circumstances. One is barometric leveling, other one is going to be called as the trigonometric leveling or indirect leveling. Other one is the third method is going to be called as spirit leveling or the direct leveling. So most of the cases we are going to be using the spirit leveling or the direct leveling. So if it is not going to be available, your leveling instrument is not available in that circumstances, you have to go for the indirect method of leveling is going to be called as trigonometric leveling, where we will use angular and as the distance measurement. With the help of angular and distance measurement, we are going to be finding out the height or the elevation of the object. And barometric leveling completely we are going to be using for reconnaissance or preliminary surveys itself, because based on that the barometric pressure or the atmospheric pressure, elevations are going to be calculated. So it is going to be varying place to place. It is not going to be giving accurate results. So this is about the methods of leveling. Next, after understanding the methods of leveling, next is the types of leveling operation. Types of leveling operation. Types of leveling operation. The first one is going to be called a simple leveling. Second one is a differential leveling. Differential leveling or compound leveling. Or continuous leveling. So the third one is going to be called as fly leveling. Fourth one is longitudinal or the profile leveling. Fifth one is going to be called as cross-sectional leveling. So sixth one is going to be called as check leveling. So these are the 6 types of leveling operation. So depending upon the situation or depending on the circumstance, we are going to be using and to carry out the progress of the work or the leveling operation. First one is going to be called a simple leveling. Second one is differential leveling or compound leveling or continuous leveling. Third one is fly leveling. Fourth one is longitudinal profile leveling. Fifth one is cross-sectional leveling. Sixth one is going to be check leveling. These were going to be called as leveling operations to finding out the difference of elevation between the points. Our main objective is that one, we are going to be calculating difference of elevation, or we are going to be calculating or the finding out that the height of the object is based with respect to the datum line or the datum surface. So this is our objective. First objective is that one. So we are going to be estimating that the height or the elevation of the point or the object. So with respect to the given datum, with respect to given datum, then the second one is difference of elevation between the 2 points. These are the two things we are going to be finding out by using the leveling operation, or we are going to call it leveling survey. So then, so what is the simple leveling operation? What is the differential leveling or the continuous leveling operation? What is meant by the fly leveling operation? Longitudinal or the profile leveling, cross-section leveling, and check leveling. First one is going to be called the simple leveling. So simple leveling is the term itself is going to be giving the meaning. It is going to be, the process is going to be very simple. Leveling work is going to be carried out for a smaller distances. So the leveling work is going to be for the smaller distances, and the difference of elevation we are going to be finding out with the one setup of the instrument. One setup of the instrument, or the by using the leveling instrument, how far we can able to see that the object, that much distance we are going to be using one setup. We are not going to be shifting the instrument, only for single setup of the instrument. So we are able to finding out the elevation, and as well as we are going to be finding out the difference of elevation between the 2 points. That is going to be called a simple leveling. So this will be suitable for the smaller distances. So how we are going to be carried out? This is the ground. So this is the point A, and this is the point B. This is the point A and point B. So the leveling instrument is going to be set up over midway between point A and point B, because the distance between A to B is very small. So that's why we are going to be selecting so the location of the instrument is midway between the A and B. So then I'm going to be taking the readings on the A and the B. After calculating that one with respect to the benchmark, so we are able to calculate the elevation of the point A and the elevation of the point B. Once you know that the elevation of this point A and point B, now also we can able to compare it. A is higher position or the B is in higher position. That is we are going to call it as difference of elevation. Difference of elevation. So we are going to be calculating by using that the once you know that the elevations of the point A and point B, height of the point and the point B. This the process we are going to be called as simple leveling. So next is going to be called as the second method is going to be called as differential leveling or continuous leveling. Differential leveling. Differential leveling or compound leveling. Or continuous leveling. So differential leveling or compound leveling or the continuous leveling. So here also the objective is that one. So we are going to be finding out the elevation of the points first, and second one is the difference of the elevations from point A to point B. At the first point are the consecutive points, we are able to finding out the what is the difference of the elevation. So here we are going to be taking that A and B are very far. So for the longer distances, we are going to take it out. Or sometimes while they're taking out the leveling survey, so any obstacle is going to come across. So then we are going to be take the shifting of the instrument will be taking place. We are going to shifting the instrument. So then we are going to be so beyond the obstacle, taking out the measurements, then finding out the elevations of all the points. So in that cases, we are going to be using the continuous leveling or the compound leveling. In previous case, simple leveling. So what is going to happen? Only one setup of the instrument. So and the distance between the points is very small. If the distance between the points is large, or any obstacle is going to come across, then we have to go for number of operations or number of times the instrument is going to be shifted, because the instrument range is up to only the 2 kilometer or 1 kilometer will be there. Beyond that, the telescope is not able to see the object. That's why we are going to be shifting of the instrument is going to be taking place. So here, if you take that, so how we are going to be taking the process for the differential leveling or the compound leveling. This is the point A and this is the point B. So the distance between A and B is very large. So I'm taking the intermediate points. So these are the intermediate points between A and B. So this I am going to be taking as C1, C2, C3 and C4. So now the instrument I am going to be keeping over here. The instrument is going to be keeping over. This is the first position. This is second position. So third position. Fourth and fifth position. So this is that's why we are going to call it, this is the change point. C1 is the change point. C2 is the second change point. C3 is the third change point, and C4 is the fourth change point. So from A to B, it is very difficult to get that the observation or the visibility of the B point is very far. So that's why, so in the one setup of the instrument, so we are unable to get the data. So then what I'm going to be doing is first I'm going to be dividing, and the second setup, third and fourth and fifth, 5 steps is going to be, or we are going to be called as simple leveling. We are going to be doing for number of times. Simple leveling, this is the simple leveling process. So then we are going to be next and next and next. 4 steps we are going to do. Simple leveling operation, we are going to continue. That's why we are going to call as continuous leveling. Simple leveling is operation is going to be continued till we are going to be reaching to the point B. So till the remote point B, so we are going to be carried out number of times. The instrument is going to be shifted. So that we are going to be called as continuous. Or number of times we are going to be using the instrument. That's we are going to be called as compound leveling. So now the elevation of point A known, the elevation of the point B known. So from that we are able to calculate the difference of the elevation. So which point will be higher location and which point will be the lower location, lower position will be there. So this is the process we are going to be called as differential leveling. So the process is laborious because it consumes time. Each and every time we are going to be shifting the instrument, means we have to be apply the temporary adjustments, centering, leveling, and the focusing. Each and every operation we are going to complete it. Then after that we are going to be taking the reading. Instrument is going to be ready. Then after that we are going to be taking the reading. So that's why it is going to be called as a laborious process while you are going for continuous leveling or the differential leveling. The simple leveling is the simple process to finding out the elevation and the difference of the elevation of the points. So then the third method we are going to be called as the fly leveling. So the fly leveling is going to be used. So here only backside reading and foresight reading. There is no intermediate side reading will be. Already we discussed that backside reading is After setting up of the instrument, first reading we are going to be taking as backside reading. Foresight reading is we are going to be taking that the last reading we are going to call as foresight reading. What is meant by the foresight reading? And one more is going to be called as intermediate sight. So if I am going to be keeping the instrument over here, so this is my first point, this is my last point. So then I am going to be bisecting the point. So first point I'm taking the reading. This is my second point, third point, fourth point. So this is the last point B, A. So whatever the reading we are going to be taking after leveling, centering and leveling is completed. Whatever the reading taking, the first reading taking on the point A is going to be called as backside reading. So this is intermediate sight. This is intermediate sight. This is intermediate sight. This is intermediate sight. And the last one is going to be taking as going to be called as foresight. So foresight reading is before shifting of the instrument, we are going to be taking the reading, we are going to call it foresight reading. So in between backside and foresight, so whatever the readings we are going to be measured, that we are going to be called as intermediate sight readings. That's what the name given as, giving the meaning. Intermediate sight reading is in between backside reading and foresight reading with the one setup of the instrument. This is first setup of the instrument. Once we are going to be taking that the foresight reading means we are going to be shifting the instrument. Visibility of the object is not possible. That's why we are going to be shifting to the next position, shifting of the instrument to the next position. So then where we ended is the point B, taken the foresight. So once again, we are going to be taking the instrument over here, second position, where we completed the point B. Then once again, we are going to take the reading on the back. First reading always will be backside. Then it is going to be continued. So this point we are going to call as a change point. The change point will be having, so previous setup foresight reading, and the next setup we are having the backside reading. That's why the name is going to change point. We are going to be changing the instrument. So then we are going to be taking the reading on the same point of the backside reading. Then we are going to be continuing the progress of the work. So for the always the first reading will be a backside reading. Last reading will be a foresight reading. In between the backside reading and foresight reading, whatever the readings we are going to be taking up with the leveling instrument, with the one setup, that we are going to call it intermediate sight reading. So this is the nomenclature we are going to be using for what is backside, what is foresight, and what is intermediate sight. In simple leveling, we can go for any number of intermediate sight with respect to the backside reading and foresight reading. Similarly, in the continuous leveling, more number of intermediate sight will be coming when we are going to be comparing with the simple leveling. So in the continuous leveling, number of times we are going to be shifting the instrument, the more intermediate sights is going to be coming with respect to the four backside and foresight reading. But in case of fly leveling, so we have to be complete the progress of the work. We have to complete the task very fast. That's why we are going to be taking only backside reading and foresight reading. There is no intermediate sight. Means, so we are going to be taking the instrument here. So backside reading I am going to be taking. Here the position of the instrument. Backside reading and foresight reading. Then I am going to be shifting the instrument. So this is O1, this is O2. Where we are taking the foresight, backside reading I am taking. So then one more reading I am going to be taking as foresight. Here backside and foresight. So this is the change point 1. So change point 2. So the next setup of the instrument, taking the backside, and next is the foresight. So like that, the process of leveling is going to be continued. So with the backside and foresight, there is no intermediate sight will be there. Means only one reading we are going to be taking that. Then how far, so the telescope is going to be visible, object is going to be visible, that much direction, directly we are going to be taking that the foresight. Then you are going to be shifting instrument. So then once again we are going to carry it over. This is, we are going to be fast, in the faster way we are going to be finding out the elevations, and we are going to be establishing the benchmark. That is the purpose we are going to be using that the fly leveling. Fly leveling is, the term itself is going to be giving meaning fly from one place to other place. It will be a combination of backside and foresight. Backside and foresight. And the other purpose, main purpose is establishing the benchmark. Establishing the benchmark. For that purpose, we are going to be, because the starting of the work has to be taking place from here. So I want to establish the benchmark. So then what I'm going to be doing is, this is the, from here, I'm going to be, here the permanent benchmark is available. Permanent benchmark is going to be available somewhere else here. From here, I have to be shifted to the, so where my work is going to be started. So then, so here we are going to be taking the, so backside, foresight, once again backside, foresight, like that. I'm going to be, this benchmark is going to be shifting over here and establishing that the benchmark to that the, where the site we require the benchmark. So that's why we are going to be called as fly leveling. We are going to be using the operation with the backside and foresight. And for the main purpose, main objective is going to be establishing the benchmark. For that purpose, we are going to be using the fly leveling process. This is the one type of leveling operation we are going to be using for establishing the benchmark. It will be a combination of backside and foresight reading. So if you see that the simple leveling and continuous leveling, we are going to be using intermediate sites also. But here there is no intermediate site will be there, exclusively backside and foresight. Next, fourth method is going to be called as fourth. The leveling operation we are going to be using is going to be called as longitudinal or profile leveling. Longitudinal or the profile leveling. So this is mainly we are going to be using that road and railway. For the road construction and as well as the railway track construction, so this longitudinal or the profile leveling we are going to be using. Profile means we had to be know about that elevations of the points along the center line of the alignment. If you take that the road, so this is the center line. This we are going to be called as center line of the road, of the alignment. So this we are going to be called as the width of the road, and this is the length of the road will be infinite. Length of the road is going to be infinite. Now I want to know about the so what is the, so the profile of the ground. Profile of the ground along the center line. Profile of the ground along the center line. Profile of the ground along the center line. Why we require the profile of the ground along the center line? Means how much we had to be leveled the surface, how much we had to be excavated, how much we had to be filled that one. So if you take the elevation, this will be like this. This is whatever a drawing is going to be called as plan of a road, and in the elevation is looking like this. So then I have to make a road like this. Means this is going to comes under the filling one, and if you come across ground like this is going to be called as excavated one. So make sure that I am going to be giving the profile like this. The profile of the ground will be like this. For that, we are going to be so taking the levels of the elevations of the point. Then if you plot that one, so we are going to be getting the profile like this, profile of the ground. So then we have to be estimated that the earthwork excavation, where I have to be excavated, where I have to do the filling. So this is, so I am the fixing up of the, so the level, fixing up of the level of the road. So then this much of we are going to be called as, this comes under the filling portion, and this we are going to comes under the excavation portion. Excavation portion. That much is going to be excavated. So that how much of the volume of the earth has to be excavated, how much volume of the earthwork has to be filled, is that we are going to be estimated with the help of the longitudinal or the profile leveling. Means, so we are going to be taking that levels. So this is the same principle we are going to be using for the railway track also. This is the plan of a road. So this is center line of the road. So then the instrument will be keeping over here somewhere else. I'm going to be taking that the staff over here. Then taking the readings, so that the elevations of the points will be known. Means we can able to see that if the terrain or the profile or the surface, how it will be there. So more undulations will be there. So then we have to take that your interval. This is known as the interval, the chainage interval. So this is going to be called a chainage interval. We have to be take that very near. or so very interval will be interval will be successive intervals where we take. If we sometimes what is going to happen like this will be there very flat, your ground will be very flat, profile will be there. So then the chainage interval we have to take at the longer distances. Interval will be more, interval will be less. In the case of more undulations will be there. So then taking the points will be very nearer to each and every point will be taking, and then we had to be estimate the elevations of the points. So after that we can able to get that where we have excavated and where we have filled. That's why we are going to call as profile leveling. So leveling process is going to be carried out. First we had to be fix the center line of the alignment. Then once you know that, then after that we are taking that the points, suitable points we are going to be taking up. Then after fixing that the suitable points, then leveling operation is going to be carried out. Take that the elevations of the points, take that the staff reading, the vertical scale reading. Then we are going to be finding out the what is the elevation of this point, elevation. Then I have to be draw a plan, draw a map with respect to the reduced elevations or reduced levels. We can get the profile of the ground. Then we had to estimate where we had to be cut and where we had to be filled. For that purpose, we are going to be carried out the survey is going to be called as longitudinal at the profile leveling. So this is similar for we are going to be using for the railway track construction also. So then the cross-sectional leveling. So next type of leveling operation is going to be called as cross-sectional leveling. Cross-sectional leveling. So this is also, if you take that the road along the center line, we want to know about the profile of the ground. Now this is in the length direction, along the length direction. That's why we are going to call it longitudinal leveling or the profile leveling. Now I want to construct a road. I want to get that what is the profile of the road in the transverse direction also, in the width direction also. This is the width of the road. So width of the road also we had to be estimated how the ground profile will be there. Profile of the ground will be there. So then I am going to be running that the points with respect to that the center line means transverse direction. We are going to be taking the levels. My instrument will be over here, leveling instrument. Then I am going to be taking that the suitable points in the widthwise direction. So widthwise direction. So then I have to be take the reading over here, take the readings. So then I will get the elevations of the points. Then I am going to be plotting the cross section. This way I am going to call it as cross section 1. Similarly, I have to take the cross section 2, cross section 3. So this is in the widthwise direction. Widthwise, I am finding out the elevations of the points. Then I am going to be plotting the profile of the ground. So along the width direction, So then the width direction also how I will be level the surface. So that is the main objective we are going to be carried out by using the cross section leveling. That's why the name is going to be given as cross section leveling. Widthwise direction of a road or a railway track. So how the profile of the ground will be there, how we have to level the surface. That is the main objective is that one. I have to be level the surface in the lengthwise direction as well as the widthwise direction of a road. So road will be having length and width. So in both the directions, lengthwise and widthwise direction, I have to be estimate the profile of the ground. From the profile of the ground, so where I have to do the filling and where I have to do the cutting. So that is the earthwork excavation and filling that we have estimated by using that the longitudinal leveling or the profile leveling. Then the second one is going to be called cross-sectional leveling. Then the last is going to be called as check leveling. So the last, the type of leveling operation is going to be called as check leveling. So here the term itself is giving the meaning as check leveling. So the progress of the work I had to be checking out. So this is from A to B. The level work is going to be carried out. So whether the elevation of the point A and the other points. So these are the variables C1, C2, and C3. Or we can say that the points we are going to be taking that 1, 2, 3. For the what is the elevation of the point 1, elevation of the point 2, point 3, and similarly elevation of point A and point B. So whether we did correct or not, elevations are calculated, elevation of the points is correct or not. So that we are going to be checking in the reverse direction. That's why we are going to call it check leveling. So always we are starting from A and we are going to reaching to the so destination point B. Now where the destination point from B we have been started and reached to the point A, and we are going to comparing with the previously calculated from A to B, what are the elevations we got it, the same elevations also, it has to be coincide. So A, what is the elevation of A, while I am going to be doing in the other direction, and so I am going to be reaching to the point A, that's why we are going to call check the leveling process. So then I had to be get that it has the value of A is going to be coincides, then whatever we calculated the elevations of the points is going to be corrected. Otherwise, so we have to be redo the process, and once again we have to be estimate the elevations of the points. So in that way, check leveling is going to be called check the accuracy of the work. For that purpose, we are going to be so applying the check leveling in the reverse direction, estimating the elevations of the points. Once it has to be coincide, so the level process leveling work is going to be correct or the accurate. If it is not going to be matching with the so previous results or the previous elevations of the points, so then we had to be do that the progress of the work is the estimation of the points is going to be wrong. So then we had to go for the so they redo the work, or we are going to be called as once again we are going to be repeating that the progress of the work by using once again taking the measurements of the points, and we are going to be estimating of the points. Means the checking the accuracy of the work we are going to be doing by the check leveling. So this is about the today's session we discussed about the methods of leveling. We discussed about the types of leveling operations. In methods of leveling, barometric leveling, trigonometric leveling, and spirit leveling are the direct leveling. So the trigonometric leveling are indirect leveling, spirit leveling are the direct leveling. And in the so the types of leveling operations we discussed about what is meant by the simple leveling, what is meant by the compound leveling, continuous leveling, or the differential leveling. Then what is meant by the fly leveling? So what is the longitudinal or the profile leveling? What is cross-section leveling? What is check leveling? So after understanding that methods of leveling as well as the types of leveling operations, so now we completed the basic concepts. Then we will go for what are the different methods are available to calculate the elevations of the points or to calculate the reduced levels with respect to the readings we are going to be taking in the field. So always we are going to be taking the readings in the field with respect to the staff reading. So that staff reading is not going to give directly the elevation. So with respect to the benchmark, with reference point or the known elevation, we are going to be estimating that we are going to call reduction of levels. So we are going to reducing the levels with respect to the benchmark, and we are going to be estimating the elevations of the points. In the field, we are going to be taking only the staff reading. The staff reading is not going to be giving the elevation of the point. So then we are going with respect to the benchmark or with respect to the datum line. So we are going to be estimating or we are going to be reducing the levels. That is going to be reduction of levels. So what are the various methods are available to calculate that the reduction of levels or the reduced levels? We will discuss in the next session.